back with our guest, Pamela Johnston of the Victims Information Bureau of Suffolk County, Jeanine Ferris Pirro, who prosecutes domestic violence cases in Westchester, and Charlotte Watson, who has worked with survivors of domestic violence since 1977. I am interested in your thoughts on what should be done. Politicians, inevitably, when they are held accountable for failures in the systems they are charged with operating, as an almost knee-jerk kind of response, will say, well, we need new laws. Do we need new laws? Are the laws that we have against this kind of thing adequate? Do we need better enforcement? What should be done? Any of you?
I think, Jack, that the laws that are presently on the books are sufficient to handle these kinds of cases. What we need are for the police to enforce the laws consistently, and for the judges to incarcerate offenders, so that a message is sent to the community that these kinds of cases and crimes are not going to be tolerated. It's very easy, as you say, to say that we need more laws. The truth is that the laws are already in place.
Ms. Johnston, there's a suggestion, I think it was in Jeff's piece, that they have these new radio transmitter type bracelets that can be worn. I think they use them with some of the people who are on probation when they come out of prison, or people who are subject to house arrest. It's been suggested they might work in a situation like this where an order of protection is in effect. If both parties, the woman and the ex-husband, were wearing these, and when they got within a certain distance of each other, a radio signal is sent out. Is that a silly idea, a viable idea?
Well, I think it's one tool, and I think it's worth trying. I don't think it's a panacea that's going to completely solve all our problems. It will work in certain instances. The way I see it is it might truly help a situation. There was a case in Westchester, April Ocelota, that received a lot of publicity, and April had a panic button, and for some reason when her husband showed up to kill her, she didn't push the panic button. Whether she had it on her at the time is a question, but something like this may have given her just a little bit more advance warning, and the police could have gotten there a bit sooner, possibly have saved her life, possibly not. I think it will depend on what kind of use the judges put it to, and I would caution that we would not want to see the use of this device instead of appropriate jail time.
Ms. Watson, do we need new laws?
I think we need to strengthen our laws, Jack. If you think about it, an order of protection means there's one free beating, because a family court judge cannot incarcerate when the woman first comes to him or to her. They issue the order of protection, and when she files a violation, then they have the authority to incarcerate. So it's at that point that something can really be action can really be taken. So I think that we might want to change the laws and give the judges a little more authority in that area, and give them a little less discretion, so that they have to incarcerate these batterers.
You mean if a man beats his wife and there is no order of protection in effect, a judge cannot remand that person to custody even if his wife signs a complaint against him?
Not in family court. If she goes to criminal court, it's a different story. But we find that most women go to family court because there's less of a burden of proof, it's a less formal system, and they only want the violence to stop. They really don't want to be punitive toward the batterer, so they're not really interested in seeing him go off to prison or to jail for any length of time. They just want the violence to stop. But what we're seeing is that our family courts are ineffective. We're seeing in areas like Suffolk County, where they have great policies in their police departments, and the law enforcement goes out and they follow through, they arrest the batterer, that the judges don't stand behind it. In the April Ocelota case, I have to say to you that she first got her order of protection, he violated it, she filed the violation, the judge let him off on a low bail, he went right back out, he violated the order again, the judge let him off on his own recognizance. He didn't have to pay any bail, and then he went right back out and killed her. So even with she didn't even need the panic button. She needed a judge in a system that was going to stand behind her and enforce the laws that are already on the books, and let the people know, and let this batterer know, that it's not going to be tolerated. You see, we have to all change our attitudes. These judges are elected.
I keep hearing judge. I keep hearing the word judge come up. I heard it from Ms. Watson. I heard it early in the broadcast, Ms. Johnston. Jeanine, are the judges the real culprits here? It seems they have most of the discretion when it comes to dealing with these kinds of things.
There is no question that a judge has discretion, but I want to discuss one issue, and that is the issue of bail. Whether the case is a domestic violence case or a stranger violence case, the truth is that a person cannot be incarcerated prior to his or her conviction of a crime. The purpose of bail is to ensure that a defendant return to court and not to punish him for a crime that he has not yet been convicted of. So what we have to discuss is the criminal justice system and how it functions. It functions no differently for victims of domestic violence than it does for victims of stranger abuse. However, the issue of sentencing is another issue, and the determination of his sentence is up to the individual judge.
All right. Some would suggest the criminal justice system doesn't function very well for the victims of anything. We'll be right back.
An order of protection has to be carried out by the police. How is she going to get the police if the husband just barges into the apartment? It's not worth the paper it's written on.
For a transcript of this or any edition of Jack Cafferty's Newsline New York, send $3 to Journal Graphics, 267 Broadway, New York, New York, 10007. Or to order by credit card, call 212-227-READ.
Well, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank our guests, Pamela Johnston of the Suffolk County Victims Information Bureau, Jeanine Ferris Pirro of the Westchester County District Attorney's Office, and Charlotte Watson, Chairwoman of the NOW Task Force on Domestic Violence and Incest. I'll be back tomorrow night with Fox News at 7 and again at 11 o'clock with Newsline New York. I'm Jack Cafferty. Good night.